was born in India when I was a baby. We moved to Burma, Rangoon. Now it's called Myanmar. And I stayed there for 15, 16 years. I went to school there. We are 9 brothers and sisters all together. So, and it was very good life. We had very big factory, aluminum factory. 100 people used to work there. And we had everything, cars, everything. But in '64, the government nationalized everything. It took everything away in '64. So we moved to India in 1964. When we went to India, it was a bit difficult life. We went to a village. So there was no light, no waterworks, nothing, no road. And from Burma we moved, so it was very difficult for her. But we had everything there, like fields, orchard, houses, everything in India. So it was okay. And one of my brother was in England. He used to support us. And I got married in 1971. My husband came from England in '71. It was arranged marriage. Yeah. My husband was here. He came to India. We sent photo to each other. It was arranged, and we got married in '71. And my husband, we came here in '71. It was not very big wedding. It was, but the whole village. We invited the whole village, and we had our food and everything. That's it. In my wedding we didn't, but nowadays they do wedding, they do dancing and songs and everything. When my son got married, we had all dance and everything, yeah. That time it wasn't very popular in our religion, no, but now it's like everything is. When they come to see the baby, they say like prayers.
Who says the prayer?
My husband and my brother-in-law. In our culture, we have to do circumcise. That's about after 3-4 weeks old baby, the boy. We do circumcise. Here it's not changed a lot, but in India it was a lot of change. It was like, it was a village, and in Burma it was, everything was very good. Yeah. I'm not too religious. I just pray 5 times prayers, and I say my book Quran, and that's it. It doesn't take long, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. In summer it's a bit hard because we have to wake up before 4, to pray. And in Ramadan it's very hard to fast, very long days. But in winter it's very easy.
That's very
4 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon, then evening, then after sunset, and at night. It's 5 times. I've been to Burma once after leaving Burma, and I go to India every time. I've traveled all over many places. I went to Canada, America, Saudi Arabia, Mauritius, Dubai, Egypt,
wow.
Japan, Korea,
Wow.
Melbourne, Bangkok, Bangladesh.
Oh my God, you finished the world.
Yeah.
You
Turkey,
finished the world.
Yeah, Egypt, everywhere.
My name is Mama Meshe. People call me Mama Meshe. I'm from the Congo. As for our tribe, or how we do things, or the habits that we had, when you felt pregnant, you tend to speak to your child. From the belly, you talk to them as you would talk to a normal person. As a Christian that I am, I tend to speak to them of words of blessing, of encouragement, and obviously telling them that I'm happy that they will be here, and when they come, we humble or surrender them in the hands of God. I've had my children here in Europe, but I remember my mother, when she had children, she would massage them with like palm oil, massaging them, giving them like a human form. Yeah. So contrary to myself, I wasn't able to use the same ingredients or lotions that we used back home. I used the lotions that I find here for baby oils and stuff like that. That's what I used to massage my children. It just depends, because for example, I can take my example. I finished, let's say, college at around like 18, 20. At that time, I had the courage to come and speak to my parents. The child will come to the mother verbally, they'll have the conversation. She will obviously say, Mom, I've met this person and they're interested in me and such and such and such. Then it is up to the mother to then take the message and share it with the father. So at first they will not come with a letter to obviously say they found this person, like you said, we speak about it, and then we ask the child, are you sure this is the person you want to be with, and such and such. Because then when the pretendee comes home, it allows the parents to be able to analyze and see the person. So as a tradition, they will play this type of music called lenge, and just normal secular music. So the groom family have the right to debate against the amount if necessary.
Oh.
So for our tribe, we have what we know as, we call this Ponduya Maboko, and then there's a meat called koba. So normally, like I said, the groom will come with the family of the bride will ask for a list of certain things that they want, and if the groom's family brings that and presents it to the family, that's pretty much the traditional wedding or stage done. As a tradition, as an in-law, I can definitely go and help her and show my daughter how to bathe the child and whatnot, but I cannot go and stay or live there. I wouldn't really be able to say much just because my children are not yet married. My sister's children are married, but they're married to a white man, so I'm not too sure how that went on.
I came from Kenya. I was born in Kenya, and I went in school. I studied over there. Then my mind wasn't working. I said, I don't want to go in school, and stayed home. Started learning cooking and everything. And there was a temple and a church also. We used to go in a temple more. When it was like our festival, we used to go and dance over there like a garba. Well, 9 days we do the garbas over there.
I was born in India,
Yeah.
but when I was 4, we came to Kenya. So my childhood was in Kenya, and there I studied primary school there. We learned only English. There was no Gujarati classes, no other classes, like no Swahili either.
When we are small, like 9 years, we were just playing in the house that with my sister and brother, and we are just dancing and things. But it's when it's a 9 days festival, we just go in the temple and dance over there with the other friends and families. They come over there also. The teacher teaches how to dance the garbas and other dancings in the school. Then we have to like a dress like a Jomo Kenyatta's flag, like a black or green and everything, and different colors. We have to wear the clothes.
In the evening, every evening for 9 days, then all whoever's joined this dancing group will dance first, then the other, like there was only one temple in our town, so all Hindus used to go at the evening. It used to start at 7, and like we had to dress up every day different color. And so, well, my mom never had that many saris, so we had to borrow other person's saris, and my mom never used to know how to do makeup, so we used to go over neighbors and whoever knew how to dress up properly.
Like we dance like a garba, like you have to go around. And sometimes you have to play with the sticks, and
different steps.
They teach us how to do the steps with the sticks and things. And sometimes you have to put the candle over it, like
inside.
a candle thing, and you have to dance like a
Depends
candle.
what kind of a song it is. It has to match the song and the dance.
Yeah, I came in the UK when I was 18, and when I was 19, my brother came to see, first my brother saw my husband, and then he said, oh, there is a boy, and he came to Bolton. He was living in London. He came to Bolton to see the guy. Then they came to see me in London, and then it was an arranged marriage. And he said, do you like this guy? And I said, yeah. But my parents were in Kenya. They didn't come over here. And
like it was arranged by some of the relatives said, oh, this guy in Bolton, you know, there is one, the like marriage age, and she was like through the relatives. My father died when I was 17, so I was still studying, but then I felt like I need to help my mom a lot because I was the oldest, and my other brothers and sisters were younger than me. So I had to give my time to them as well. No? So we just came to this country, like it was only 3-4 years, and my mom had to go through all this, and when I turned about 18, like then my mom's friend and everybody said, oh, why don't you call son-in-law from India, because if he's educated, you'll get help from him as well. And so my mom wrote a letter to my uncle saying that if there is any like reliable boy in India, then I went to India to get married. I didn't meet him, no, only by letter. Well, 1 year we used to like in contact with letters. Well, there was no phones at that time. Then first time in my life, because when I was 4, I came from India to Kenya. So no been to India since all these years. I've not even seen anybody, even my uncle. I'm not first time I went to India to see. Then I saw them like they came to the airport, you know, with a name. Like, you know, then it was only a small airport there as well at that time.
Also, boy, he came to see me first. My husband came to see me, and then family together, and they liked me, and they said, oh, we like this girl, and then arranged everything. Then got like married in London, then came over here. It was like I was 19 years old, and I got married.
Coach. I went to the wedding.
And they bring the coach people over there in London, and got married over there in London, and came over here.
Usually it's like boy always go to girl to get married. So from Bolton we took 2 coaches with relatives, relatives and friends.
Then we came over here. Then after 1 week, brother will come and pick you up first, and then I have to go London and stay with 1 week or something in London with my brother. Then my husband came to pick me up again, and I came over here.
In them days, they used to do things like first you got married. When you get married, first time you go to your parents' house, they come to and collect you, and then boy's side will go and collect her again.
Engagement, they came London and done the register marriage and everything. Then after 1 year, because my father-in-law was ill, that's why we can't get married. Then after 1 year, he was getting little bit better, and then got married after 1 year.
Also, engagement stayed 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
Oh, my engagement was through the letter.
Through the letter.
Yeah, mine, because like we have to sponsor him to come to this
over here.
country. Yeah, my wedding was in India, but like when you sponsor, at that time they used to give over 1 year date for the interview, the High Commission.
Yeah.
So his date was like in December, I don't know, 20th or so. I got, so they, my mom and they said, oh, you better go India. And my uncle said, you better come here before the interview date. So I went to India like on 9th of December and got married him on 14th within 1 week. And then we had interview on 20th or something like that before Christmas. Then yeah, my sermon, he was like
in the evening?
no, yeah, in the evening, but mine was within 1 day. We did everything. In the morning we did like haldi, means
Tamarind powder.
turmeric, the paste you do.
Tamarind powder,
Turmeric
you have to
and,
do
yeah.
paste.
And sandalwood powder mixed together and to glow your face. It's kind of a
like a
Traditional.
sermon.
traditional.
Yeah.
It is traditional.
Like her is in 1 day, but mine was 3 days.
Yeah.
Like from there we'll start from Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Then Saturday is wedding.
So you're gonna be wearing the
Yeah, 3
Yeah.
days there
Every
to
day?
yeah.
Then
In morning and in the evening they do put the tamarind powder every.
yeah,
I
for
know.
3 days.
Yeah,
Mine
3
was.
days.
Right.
Like
First-
5 people will do it on you. Like 5 ladies, they will.
Like a bridesmaid.
Yeah, they will start.
No,
But,
it's usually mom.
Mom, you start from mom, then like 4 people others, they will do
Sister-in-law
it.
if you
Yeah,
have.
sister-in-law or anyone. I wear a
Sari.
sari, and then after like in a wedding day, you have to wear like white and red border sari. And that sari brings like my mom's brother, they have to bring the saris and things for the
Uncle.
bride.
Okay.
That's why then my like uncle, he bought the saris for me, and then I have to wear that sari in the wedding day. You have to wear that sari 3 days, which is a yellow color.
Okay.
Because you can't change it. You can't have a path.
No.
So the same color.
No.
Like that tamarind things,
Yeah.
you 3 days.
Yeah.
You have to
Is it
wear the
different?
same sari on 3 days. Then on
No.
the wedding day, you have to have a path and wear the like that uncle
different
bought.
one.
Yeah, wedding day.
It's different.
Yeah, wedding day you have to wear like which uncle brought that sari. You have to wear that one.
All right.
Mama, we call it mama.
Mama.
Mama
Means
means
uncle,
mom's brother.
mother's brother.
Okay.
I mean, brother, yeah.
Mama means.
Yeah,
Mama.
mom's brother. Yeah.
Mom's brother is
Mother.
called mama.
Like also the mom's brother will put you a like they will bring
Julie.
the bangles, and they will put they will try to put bangles.
On you.
Yeah, on a wedding day.
Everybody give gift, kind of.
Presents and money. Some people give the money, or some people give the present or something. Like on a wedding day, we do the like a fire in the place. And then we have to go 5 times.
4 times.
4 times. The men go first, and then you have to go like a
lady.
rider goes behind the man 4 times, and then 5th thing.
5th नहीं, 4th 4 જ હોય ને.
No, 5.
5.
And then the lady goes first.
Okay, on 5th. Okay.
Yeah, and then men goes behind her.
Round.
No.
The priest talks this is the first you have to look after your husband and things. Then you have to put the what you put weeds and everything in the fire.
Weeds.
Weeds,
wheat.
Meat.
Wheat.
Okay. Seeds.
Gum नहीं, sesame seed.
Okay.
And
Sesame seeds and
you can put
wheat.
anything.
Five different things. Like brother can gum.
Brother will give you in your hand, then you have to put the thing. 4 brother will.
And at 7 months you do baby shower. Then normally we do katha, we do means we call the priest as well. Like first we do it depends in different traditionalists, different way doing and then going in
we call the people from the parents side, like my parents, my brother and they have to come over here, and they have to give a sari and things. Give my husband a shirt or something, or some gold thing, they have to give a thing. And we have to do wedding a ceremony, and all the people comes to
For pregnancy.
Yeah, you wear red sari or something. Or wedding sari if you go.
Wedding sari was we have
then
to
you
wear
wear it on that day, and
we have to put the
coconut
in on the sari, and 7 times you have to do it.
7 times.
Lift it and put it down, and
It needs in your
you
side.
sit down.
Yeah.
So you have to sit down, and we have to put the coconut and things on her lap, and then she will put on my lap 7 times.
And then you tie it down in a cloth
and
that
leave it
coconut. Then you leave it near the god, whatever. In the house. Then when the day you go to hospital or when the baby is going to be born, you open it. So coconut.
But the coconut, they said, after baby is born, you have to break it, and then if a pregnant woman, when baby is born, they have to give to mom and eat.
So is
the coconut is good for breastfeeding or something.
Milk.
Yeah.
So we take the baby to temple on
after
6 weeks. 6 weeks baby.
Then
to give blessing.
Because we can't go out our thing, we can't go out because mother-in-law said not to go out because it's not good for a priest will put the daughter on a baby and also
just
mom.
a blessing,
blessing,
of a blessing.
And then
we don't have if it's a boy, then some people have a ceremony of hair cutting after a year, 3 years, it depends.
If it's
a
boy, then
we
have to do
big
more
ceremony.
things.
I have to go India
3 years or
a haircut. My son.
Haircut. Then we have to do
Expensive.
ceremony. We have to call all the people a wedding thing. Just hair,
It's a big
also
ceremony.
My parents have to come to the cutting hair. and they have to give all the clothes to my baby and everything. And we have to give because the husband's sister, we have to give the money and everything.
She does it first 3 cuts.
One like a cut.
Okay, you don't
Head.
cut it all off.
No, first 3 cuts the husband's
sister
sister
will
does
do
it.
it.
Means like
Then,
baby's auntie. Priest, yeah.
A priest gave it.
It was a calendar, and
yeah.
he'll say supposing starting from D and B, and another like 2 or 3 letters.
Yeah.
Then from that letter we have to choose the name. That's the traditional way, but nowadays people are
They
more
choose their own kids'
like
name.
my name is chosen from the Rasis. Hers must
Mine
have
also.
been. But
Also
I'll call my children from the Rasis. I'm
Also,
not
my kids, there is from Rasi. The priest just gave the name.
in some, like my sons, like my daughter-in-law, in theirs, when the first, like any babies are born, the feeding, rice feeding, you say, they have rice feeding and their big ceremony, like. But my daughter-in-law, her daughter was born at the COVID time, so they didn't do it. But they have kind of a big ceremony for that. And on the rice, like they give this means with milk, cooked rice with the milk.
Like a rice pudding.
Rice pudding, yeah. And they have like because they eat more rice because they stay from Kolkata, Bengal, so they have big ceremony and they put like 5 different things: pan, gold, coin, gold and another coin. Then they put book.
What is that book?
Book means reading book, small book, and then they tell baby to pick one thing up and whatever they.
Can't pick. So
No, yeah, flowers, and they put like 4 or 5 different things, and whatever they pick, they think the baby when they grow up, it will become. If the pen is then a writer or something big, because.
So if you pick, what do you do with the cut hair?
Boys,
You keep it.
No, we throw it in the river.
We have to, Sometimes we have they go India, we have to send it to India and they will put in the river over there.
But nowadays, it is everybody does. They like when my daughter got married, we took her. Well, my in-laws were all India. Instead of calling them here, we all family went there, and we did it there. But nowadays people are doing destination wedding, and they go like it depends now, because nowadays it's not arranged marriage, is it? If they're choosing their own.
Your children, they don't do.
Well, my children.
My children, they haven't
It's
married.
arranged for them.
Yeah,
They
they choose their own partner.
Yeah, so it will depend on them, what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's
Like my son's married into Bengali, and they're from we from Gujarat, and where's Kolkata and where's Gujarat? It's like another state, but. They found it in uni, so they got married. Yeah. So even my daughter, one of my daughters, she's married into like Gujarat family, but their traditional is different as well. But they did come India.
Yeah, they do different thing.
Yeah.
Also, my daughter's house, they do the different thing.
I am from a particular tribe called the Manyanga tribe. So as you can see, within our particular tribe, there is not much that, of course, a mother does while she's bearing a child. It's just, of course, monitoring her health and making sure that she is growing in a very good state and ensuring that she's being looked after well. So there are many things, of course, that happens when a child is born and they are a newborn. There are things, of course, that we do where we look after the child and we bathe them, and of course we also wipe them down with palm oil to really massage their bodies and to make sure they are well looked after. Now there are some cases where a newborn is not really exposed to seeing many people, because there are some people who may come and see the child and they may show ill intention to the child. Now if something like this does happen within my particular tribe, or should I say in my village's tribe, they will bring a particular type of leaf and they will spread it across the child's head to remove the ill intentions that has been spread onto that child. So usually at the age of 10, we teach our children, especially our young children, our young girls, how to bathe, how to look after themselves, how to keep themselves at a good position and state. Mm-hmm. The first thing I can pinpoint upon this particular generation, or not this generation, but the older generation of women who are Mamugongo, is that they did not really have conversations that is regarding to such a topic. It was considered a taboo. But now that I myself as a mother, I am a bit more open, I am more open to speaking with my children, especially from the age of 13, about such things concerning boys, what to do, what not to do, how to stay away from them, how they should present themselves. And it's very, very important because they need to be aware of such things. It's so important to mention that before any of our children, or the children that I have given birth to, that before they come home and present to me a potential groom or a mate, that they must follow through the orders or the things that will help them with their lives. They have to finish school, they have to obtain their degree certificates and present that home to us as their parents before they can consider being in a marital home or in a marital relationship. The first thing that we do is that, of course, I as a mother, I speak with my daughter, and of course she confides in me the person who she has interests with. Once my daughter has done that, I then go forward to speak with her father, and we sit together as a trio, mother, father and child, and we have a very intimate conversation concerning the person that she's interested in, the tribe that they come from, the family history, anything of that sort, so that we can prepare ourselves to welcome this young man and his family in the introductory stage. That's the first thing that we do. So before we welcome this young man into our home, the groom's family must first write a letter and send forward back to the bride's family to ensure that they have a potential interest and of course a recognizable date that they would like to come. Now inside this envelope they must leave something as a symbol to show a sign of honor and respect for what they are about to do. Once we have read this letter, we respond to them and we give them an accepted date that they can come and visit, and we take things from there. And when they arrive on the property with their particular family members, parents, brothers and sisters, they have to give forward a particular symbolic gift, like a case of drink, whether it's alcoholic or not, to show, for example, their intentions to marry our daughter. When they enter our home, they give this symbolic gift. When they want to start speaking and converse about the marital status of their child and our child, they give again another gift. And that's how the process begins. So there are many things in which that can be considered for the dowry price and of course the items that they can bring, but they are always put forward for negotiation. Now in some cases for the dowry price they may put of course £2,000, but that can also be discussed. Now I know in our tribe as Manyanga there are many cases where they won't just ask for 1 or 2 cases of beverages, but they may ask for 30 or 40, but that is dependent on the type of person that you encounter with from the same tribe that I am from. So within the Manyanga tribe, when it comes to the traditional wedding, there is no specific garment or customary song that we must play. Whatever print or African material that the bride and groom decide to wear, the bride creates a dress for it and the groom creates a shirt or a matching outfit. Now there isn't of course a customary song or instrument that they play, but when it comes to honouring gifts to the bride and groom, there is some Manyanga songs that they do play that we dance towards when we're about to give them gifts for their ceremony and accepting and welcoming them as a marital couple. In our tribe, there is nothing that stops us to going to see our child who has given birth within her new marital home. Really, it is something that is quite encouraged when our daughter who is now married and she wants to give birth or she has given birth, we are very encouraged to go and stay with her in order to support her, to of course help her with this new level that she has now entered into her life. So within our tribe, if a Muyanga individual marries another Muyanga individual, there are very customary dishes that we prepare in order to welcome and accept our in-laws. And those dishes are similar to bundu, bundu amadesu, funwa, waterfish, and also any other types of fishes, because we are a very heavily based fish tribe and we enjoy eating it as a delicacy too. The only difficulty I would say is that the things that we ask for back at home in Congo, those are the same things that we would ask here, of course, in the UK. Now, the major difficulty that arises within that is, of course, negotiation and arguments. Some people may differ or have a different opinion, and others, of course, may have a preference that other people may not like.
I born in India, little village called King Claude near Borsad in Gujarat, and where I born it was a beautiful little village, and my childhood was very pleasant, and I grew up there and studied there. Had a really good experience with my childhood, with my education as well. We were very close in our street, very friendly, helping each other, enjoying the occasion. Like being Hindu, we have so many festivals. Comes in a year, so we enjoy enjoying with festival activities, having some food together, sharing, and all that. I remember I still have that taste in my mouth.
Wow.
Lord Krishna's birthday called Janmashtami. And we had a temple which was Hanuman Dada. So we had a mela. So people gather there and they have all of the food stall and some of the fairground. So you go on, and that's the fun I can remember when I attended when I was kind of 5 to 7 sometime. And that was the best experience I had, I remember. Studied from like 7 years to finish my kind of high school education called Secondary School of Education, that called SSC. So that's like after that you go in a university. So I did that in my whole village, in my own village.
Wow, that's any of
the... No, we never had any kind of special group or anything. But we used to go temples every day in evening, because we had a puja, which it takes 15 minutes and called Aarti. So we girls attended the Aarti. So we knew the whole, like the street girls who are same age of group, we went there. So we kind of have spiritual and adhyatmic, little bit knowledge when we were growing. But we didn't have nothing special group. It was those days they were not much, like anything special for women or girls. But what we had a best experience, and we made the most of it. We enjoyed our life. I can only say the childhood what we had those days, I don't see now. I didn't hear any news about her, but growing up as a woman or as a girl, and you start having your thought, yourself, what you want to do, or when you marry, or who you want to marry. You have all that thought in yourself. Sometimes you can discuss with your friend, and sometimes you can discuss if you have a sibling like sister. I have no sister, so I can always have a friend to rely on. And I didn't know much, like we didn't have much knowledge about other people, but we have ourselves learn from other people, other girls, and all that experience. You just gather the information, and then when the time comes, and when I have married to my chosen man, so I kind of would say lucky to find the man I wanted to marry, and who I met in a wedding, in my friend's wedding, and I expressed my parent I want to marry him. So yeah, it been organized and we married. Okay, and I was 21 when we got married.
Okay.
It was an arranged
marriage. It was your choice?
It was my choice, and yeah, my parents agreed because the man who I am with, my husband, is well. He's a good man, and he worked hard, and he respects me more than anything. He really always respected me the day one. So yes, I have chosen my husband.
That's really good.
Like? The wedding day was very excited. It was a long day because we had all ceremony done in one day. Usually they do 3 days, but we did it one day. I was excited. Probably he must be excited as well. I can't tell you that. And yeah, the wedding was fine. We got married. We had all the ceremonies done in a day. Wedding start in night time. It was 1:30.
In the night?
In the night.
What?
That wedding always in the night time, those days. And I wore a white sari with a red border, which I was proud of, and it been bought my uncle with my sister brother, and yeah, it was a very nice wedding day. We had so many people in the wedding. We do our marriage vow in front of the ceremony those days took at least 2 hours, and we do that ceremony with the Brahmin. It's like a priest, and yeah, the vows is similar what they do now, and you agree, and the whole ceremony is kind of similar what you have nowadays. Nothing changed. Don't have any God name there, but it's that's activate fire is the presence of God, whichever God you believe, which is in like Lord Krishna or Rama or So that's how our vows been taken.
Okay, so
well, when you pregnant, they don't do any ceremony, but around 7 months we do baby shower, which is kind of ritual ceremony, which is like similar what you said, but it's been done by
when a baby's in the womb on the 7th month,
when you're 7 months pregnant, that's how we ritually celebrate the pregnancy.
Baby shower.
The baby welcome, well,
like if family come to welcome.
yeah,
baby.
well, once I think when you have a baby, when in India, what we used to do, we used to go to our parent house to have a baby, so you can be looked after. It's not that you don't look, the groom's family don't look after you,
Tradition.
but it's like, yeah, tradition. You go there, so then you have a rest for a month or 2 months. So the baby is been welcomed by the whole family, and then they call the groom family and say the baby's arrived, and then they come and visit, and they want to bring presents or whatever they want to do, they can do. So that's how they can welcome the baby. And there is a change in every culture, and it's happening same in ours. So yes, it's not the same as I grew up in. Nothing different than is changing in a whole wide world.
Is it better or is it?
I cannot judge whether it's better or is a good one or bad one. I cannot judge. I'm not judging anybody. I came to UK to do my nursing in 1975. And I am proud to be Hindu. I'm proud to be in my culture.
Yeah.
So yes, I am gonna keep my tradition as much as I can until I'm live. As a parent, I think we have to listen to our kids, not to tell them, but listen to them, guide them, and join them. So they do not follow the wrong path. They can follow our tradition, they follow our custom, our culture and our religion, but do not force them. Make them understand, be with them and guide them. So they do not miss the path where they are going. They had to follow the path.
Yeah.
The path is taking a good way or good path.
I think that's really good. That's a really good idea.
That's my opinion. That's how, as a parent, we should do. No matter what culture you are, what religion you are, or wherever you are.
My name is Buki Arowolo. Well, the full name is Bukola Arowolo. So I'm from Nigeria, from Yoruba to be specific. So I grew up in Nigeria, West Africa, and I am proud of my tribe where I came from because I love our culture.
Lovely.
And that's because the culture instilled discipline and part of what helped me today to be who I am. The culture where is so in Yoruba, when you're addressing elderly people, you use for them, and then when you're addressing a younger person, you use o.
Oh, okay.
I can say to you ekpele shewa, okay. So that means I'm talking to somebody much older than me, and if it's my friend, shewa, okay, shewa kwa. So that's kind of like our own maybe vowel kind of sounds in greeting people respectively. But I've seen the way they greet people, I've seen the way they treat people and all that as well. Kind of I took it, so like even till now people would tell me, I think I've had friends challenge me, why do you have to kneel down when you see people? So I don't kneel fully down, but I kind of bend.
You bend,
and these are the things I saw my mom do when I was younger. So she would greet people the way she would do. Automatically I just adapted to that. And I've seen my daughter do it as well. She follows me out. She's doing that, she's watched me doing that. So I'm glad that the teachings I took from my parents, I'm able to do it, and my daughter,
is now following
she's now following me, which is, it's not a bad thing. It's respect. It's how you talk to people, how you approach people. And apart from that, I'm trying to think, because greeting is one specific thing for us. And apart from that, in our tribe, so well, for women, if you're married,
Yeah.
you expect that when you serve your husband, you serve with full respect. You know, I saw my mom do all these things. So she would serve my dad in a tray.
Okay.
And then she would kneel, or she might not kneel most time, depends on the situation. She can kneel halfway, or if it's just she would present it in a respectable manner, saying, "This is your food." Knowing now that not everybody does that, that makes me even appreciate my culture the more.
Of course, of course.
Because it's nice to be respected, and it's nice to give respect to people.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love the Yorubas. I love our culture.
The culture.
Yeah. There wasn't a particular age that my parents said, "Oh, this is when you have to start looking for a partner." I was very quick. My education was really quick. So for me, I came to the UK when I was 19 to do my master's. And as at that time, after master's, I had met my husband during master's.
Yeah.
And so I remember during graduation, one of the lecturers said, "Oh, you can get married now." And I'm like, "Are you a joker?
You've got everything."
You've got everything. And I'm like, my dad was like, "Of course, I need that work experience as well." But I guess what she meant was you found someone already, that they can see that you guys are really close.
Yes.
So if you want to get married now, there isn't anything wrong with it. So I think, there's no particular age to say, oh, it should be 25 or 23. I think it has to do with the maturity of the child. For different parents, if they know their child and they know the partner of the child, they're serious, and the partner have actually expressed his feelings towards their daughter, they may let the child go to say, she's ready. Obviously, you have to have achieved something.
Of course.
You can't be in secondary school and say you want to get married. But different families differs again.
Of course.
Because there are some families, maybe common to certain religion as well. They can let go easily because they actually will, I think they arrange marriage.
Yeah.
To say, this, you're going to be married, and that can happen from age 16 or even younger. I've heard of that in some parts of Nigeria where I grew up, especially in the northern parts. But most people who are educated and who definitely knows what they want for their children will help their children to mature, understand what marriage is before they can actually go into marriage. Yeah. And for me as well, me having my child now, I will say, one thing I always tell my child is achieve what, be a woman of your own. The most important thing is to study whoever you want to marry very well before you say you want to go into that marriage. So you don't just go into marriage. But if she's found someone young enough, she's finished university, and we've been having a good conversation, and I know the guy, I wouldn't stop her.
You wouldn't stop her, but you would definitely want her to achieve something that she can keep hold of, that nobody can take away from her.
Exactly. Like I always say to her, you're a woman of value, and you're very, you're a treasure every man should want to have. So put yourself high up there. Achieve what you can achieve and be proud of yourself. Just don't let yourself go into the arms of any man.
Exactly.
And I know, I'm a Christian, so I know God will definitely back her up. So it's not a certain age. It's not an age factor.
Of course.
I think it's the mind factor. But obviously, if your child is, some parents start to get worried at a certain age if their children are not married. So like you get into your 30s or even 40s. Right, so I think that's what we call the introduction. So the start of it is obviously you've dated and it's proposed to you, and then it's something we call introduction where the parents will come with the guy. So the parents just officially getting to know each other. So they could bring someone with them, like a family member. They just come and express. They could bring a gift to say, oh, just looks like we're going to be in-laws. It'll be nice to know you. And type of thing. So that day they could have a conversation about possible arrangements of the traditional weddings and stuff like that. And in Yoruba land, there's some other tribe like Igbo as well. The bride family would give a list to the husband.
Okay, so a list of items to buy.
To buy.
Yeah.
And so all the items need to be bought prior to the traditional wedding.
Okay.
So that's what you see. You've probably seen videos of baskets of food. They'll give money.
Yeah.
They'll bring cars, a big cow.
Yeah.
So that's the process. On that day, the husband and wife will dress in the traditional attire.
And what's the traditional attire?
So in Yoruba, it's we call it ofi.
Ofi.
So it's a traditional wear. So they wear like a complete set. Iro and buba is for the women, and agbada is for the men.
Okay.
So, and then the men will also have his friends who will dress uniformly as well. And the women will also have, a friend. They would dance with her, and she would have to cover her face.
Are the women who accompany the bride, are they called Asheobi girls? Am I saying that correctly?
Oh, you're very right. Yeah. So Ashoebi, yeah. So they wear Ashoebi. They could wear Ashoebi on the traditional day. So you see them wearing the same thing. That's the Ashoebi.
Okay.
So Ashoebi means the cloth of the family cloth, something like that.
Family cloth.
Cloth,
to show that this is the woman's side of the family. Okay. Interesting.
And then one interesting thing is that you choose colors as well.
Yeah.
So the bride's family will choose a certain color, and the groom's family will choose a certain color. So if you are invited, once they see you, they'll know, oh, this person is a guest for
the groom's.
And if it's the other way, they will know it's for the bride's family as well. So both family will come together. But where I came from, actually, Yoruba land, the wedding, the women carry most of it. So like you have to do most of the preparation of the food. You get everything ready. Things are different now. I don't know about the old times, but from the movies that I've watched, like once you're married, you marry the in-laws as well.
Of course.
So they can come in anytime.
Anytime.
In-laws are free, welcome. But again, there has to be privacy in the home.
Of course, yes.
It's nice to have family around. It wouldn't be on our honeymoon day. We don't want
Of course,
no
who would want their mother-in-law their
yeah,
honeymoon?
Exactly. But one thing is, the mother-in-law thing is a factor, obviously.
It's a factor, of course, yeah.
Most women are always a bit skeptical about mother-in-law.
Yes.
Their mother-in-laws.
It's like, you've taken my son
You've
away
taken
from
my
me.
son. And then you see the attitude of the mother-in-law after a while. That, is my son. They want to dictate on maybe what you want to cook, or they want to do the shopping for you. And you're like, when you here, allow me to, so you still get all this kind of thing.
Of course,
I've seen it in movies, and they act exactly what's happening in some people's home. But some people, mother-in-laws are nice. They know it's their child, the daughter is now a child to her as well.
Yeah.
But the father-in-law, they know when to come. The sister-in-laws, they know when to come.
Yeah.
They notify them. And when they come, they're welcome.
Yeah.
But I know that, well, from what I've heard or stories I've heard, when you're pregnant, you still have to do all the norms in the house.
Of course, yeah.
You see
the maintenance side.
Yeah. People who were pregnant or probably had kids before will still back their kids even with a huge pregnancy. So you will see all that happen. You still have to serve your husband the way you should, with all the respect. You still have to do your chores. So back in those days, you see them, they carry stuff on their head.
On their heads, yeah.
And they're still going to the market. They're still doing the normal things. But obviously, and in those days, I don't think the men are that romantic to help. But for me growing up though, my dad was, he's a loving dad. I grew up with a loving dad. And he will support my mom. Like I had younger ones. He would help her, just come to the kitchen to see what's going on. They had house help, so he doesn't have to do much anyways. But that love was there. So I was quite young because, like my youngest, I'm like 6 years older than her, so, but I can still recall a few things that maybe I saw when she was born.
Okay.
And so there's not really a particular traditional rite
Okay.
that my mom had to do. I don't know,
okay.
maybe because things are becoming, different compared to when they grew up. But other than the normal things you have to do, you have to pray. If you're a Christian, you pray that the baby will come out well. But traditionally, there could be things that they do. Maybe I've heard people using palm oil to rub.
Palm oil to rub on the belly.
On the belly.
Is that to like help with the skin or just the nourishment of the mother?
So maybe to help with the skin and also to help with the baby's movement.
Okay.
Some women could feel pain.
Has that been proven? I mean, palm oil is just another form of oil, isn't it? But I guess because it's
palm
tradition.
oil is a traditional oil, well respected. It's known for several benefits. I remember then if you've got like any rash or anything, they'll tell you to use palm oil.
Palm oil.
So they believe a lot in palm oil. So I think that's why they will say, and I think it would help with stretch marks as well. But they believe palm oil is Yoruba. They call it ero. So it kind of like would at least provide sort of some kind of aid to the problem.
Yes.
So that's why they use it a lot. So that one I can remember, but people do that. I didn't try it when I was pregnant. But yeah, they do it then.
Yeah.
It's that when I had the baby here in the UK.
Yeah.
Because I had my babies here in the UK. So my mom came like just before I had the baby. I know, brilliant. She was helpful from day one. So like after you give birth to the child, obviously in my culture you would name the child after 7 days.
Okay. Why is it after 7 days?
Oh, just tradition.
Just tradition.
Just what I've met. I don't know why. I don't know what the why is. But yeah, so as soon as we come out from the hospital, the first birth could happen, that day or the following day. They would usually use a kind of sponge. I don't know what it's called now. It's kind of like yellow.
Just like a regular sponge?
No, it's a traditional sponge.
Okay.
Some people would use, but now it's changed depending on what but that's what people would normally use. And black soap.
Black soap, okay.
To wash the baby very well, because they believe that, all the old stuff that the baby came out would have to go.
All the gucky stuff.
Exactly, has to go. And then there's a way they bath the baby. They turn the baby upside down. Shake the baby.
Yeah.
Turn the baby. They'll fold 2 hands of the baby back.
Is it to help with the muscles and the bones?
The muscles. They would like push the baby's bum up. Some will give the baby dimples. So a lot of African people, you probably notice they have dimples on their butt.
Yeah.
That's because,
they've been molded.
They've been molded. So they shape the bum well. They shape the head of the baby well as well. A lot of things that they do. Shape the nose. I remember telling my mom, my first daughter, please give her dimples.
Just do this for her, please.
It didn't work though. That wasn't natural. But yeah, so they do all sorts of things. And I think those things do help because they say it makes the baby strong. And I think it does, to be honest. And also the placenta of the baby, they have to use, I forgot what it is, but they use something, they'll tie it in a cloth, and then they'll keep using it to mold that placenta until it cuts off.
It cuts off, okay, yeah. So, but all those things I think is beautiful. It helps.
It helps, yeah. I've seen it works on my kids, 3 of my kids, my mom had to come over to help. So they help you, they back the baby for you.
Yeah.
For me as well as the one who's just had a baby, I'm well looked after. So my mom will use a hot towel, very hot, to mold my tummy.
Okay, yeah, similar to what we do in our culture,
To mold my tummy down. She'll put the towel in water and I'll sit on it, very hot water, so the steam can go in.
Of course,
to heal that place.
And to remove any impurities.
She'll mold my breast, make sure my nipples are well washed for the baby to be able to latch properly.
Yes.
And so all these things really, really helpful. I mean, they've been doing it from tradition to tradition, generations. So like now you're saying that even here they advise that you do that.
Like, yeah,
these
like
are
a
the things they
warm
will do just to help the mom get ready, also for the baby. And this process was, beautiful. But my mom definitely, she assisted well, very, very helpful. Like that's when I really, really appreciated. I can't use a cane on my child.
Of course, that would be
like I saw
child cruelty.
like I saw my mom did, or my dad sometimes if it's extreme, depending on what you do. But so from my home, I didn't really see that much of it harsh, or I've heard people say stuff. But obviously when I went to the boarding house, it was different, because like the people that were looking after us, if we do something really bad, they would bring out the cane and really whoop your ass.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Some of the teachers will whoop you if you do you're late. It's gonna
Teaching you to be punctual, isn't it? You don't be late, no beating.
But they will use their cane on you.
Wow.
But here it's different. So I can't do that to my kids. The highest I do is I ground them, take what they like from them.
Yeah.
Tell them to go in the dark room, put their face on the wall.
Yeah. Naughty corner.
I had to learn that. It was hard at first because that wasn't what I was used to growing up. I was used to, oh, you did that, boom, you smack your bum, or what we saw our teachers do to us and stuff. So it's quite hard here. And that's why I see a lot of kids, they talk back when their parents are talking.
My name is Ahina Fungwa Mafuta. I was born in Kinshasa. I'm Congolese, and I am a woman from a particular region called Bandundu. So all I can say is during this time when a mother is bearing a child, it's a very joyous moment. A mother is filled with love and with joy, and the kind of emotions that a mother may go through, whether it's sorrow, pain, or happiness, the child also feels that type of emotion. So when I had my first child, I wasn't specifically caring to my child because I had the privilege of having my mothers, my aunties, my grandparents who were available to look after my child. As you can see, after 2 weeks of giving birth, it was a very, very traumatic time for me because something unfortunate happened to me. I had fallen and I was sent immediately to the hospital. Now the doctors and nurses were of course very, very upset to hear that I had recently just given birth, and they wanted to care for me the best way possible that they could. So what they had done was they had sent me home, and my in-laws and my sisters had come together with leaves, mango leaves, and of course saffron leaves, and they brought them together, boiled them, and allowed them of course to be boiled and steamed to help me with my care, to help me with my nurture, and to ensure that I was back into the place where I was by keeping my health. The massive difference between here and Congo is that I have no family here in the UK. The majority of my family are based in Congo, and of course when giving birth to a child, you have everybody who are all hands-on within the family. They can help here, they can help there. But unfortunately here in the UK, you don't have that privilege. You do not have that sense of understanding. In the past, that many people would bathe their sons with the bones of animals which are apes or monkeys in order to make sure that their sons have strong bones and a strong health. I personally haven't challenged this or tried this with my own children, but it is something that I have heard obviously within my culture. So you can see that within the culture I have a very, very specific, intimate and helping conversation with my child. I tell them the things, of course, with the Bible. I give them scriptures and guidance to help them be a nurtured child and to be raised well within this community here in the UK. I began to prepare my child specifically at the age of 15, giving her conversations as to when and how she can begin her particular journey in becoming a woman. I taught her how to make sure her home was well looked after. The things in which she was doing was showing that she's a well-presentable woman, because where she will meet a man, I as her mother will not be there present. So I need her to know that she is ready to take on that challenge when it comes. Back in the customs, our parents will wed at the age of 13, 14. However, in my generation, that is not the particular custom that we uphold. We can get married at a much later age, where we have a better understanding of our surroundings and the society we live in. I would like to say that I think that the age in which is appropriate for my daughters to bring home a fiance or a good close friend is when they are in university, about that age range. Because that's when they would meet a friend, and they usually don't come home and say that this is my fiance, but they would come home and say that this is my close friend, a friend that I have met, and I want them to be around my family. That is when we'll begin to have intimate conversations about what they'd like to do and take the next step. My first reaction would be is joy. The joy to see that yes, my daughter has listened well to me, and that the person who she is interested in has followed customs and traditions and presented to me a letter in which that will tell me that they are ready to take their relationship. So what we do as a family is that we gather together and have a conversation. And amidst that conversation, we talk about when we can choose a specific date or a month that we can prepare ourselves to welcome this particular family, and of course to get the process going. During this time, we only ask them to, of course, come with their mother, their father, and certain members of their family. And we also ask them to come with certain drinks, certain things that we can drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and of course to place a symbol or a sign within the envelope to show that they are prepared to wed our daughter. So after the presentation, they had left our household. It is only when the groom or the potential groom returned to collect the receipt and the demands of what we wanted for him to wed our daughter. The things in which I had asked for during this particular time, specifically coming from the mother's side, were things, of course, of culture. 3 pieces of items, specifically African attire items, jewellery, necklaces, earrings, and a watch. I also asked for a massive pot of familial pots that I can cook for my family, a box of salted fish, and also other items. I was only focusing on the mother's side and not particularly the father's side. And I was also asking for alcoholic drinks and also other beverages. The difficulty that we had is that during the time of negotiation with both families there wasn't an opportunity to have the uncle's name being disclosed in the receipt. During the receipt where it was revealed upon the family, his name, the uncle's name, was not purposefully written, and of course many members asked why. As you can see, a marriage is the joining of 2 families, so both families have to take charge of something within a wedding. When it comes to taking responsibility of something, the groom's family may decide to take charge, of course, the food, or the bride's family may decide to take charge of the beverages. But it has to be a moment of negotiation and understanding that each family has a charge to take. To go and stay there, I won't do, but to visit, I will. In my family, I have definitely had the time to raise and educate my daughters well. If there is something that they do not know, they will take the time to contact me and ask for the thing that they do not know well, and to be asked, of course, how they should do it well. Now, I know that my daughters are very well educated. My name is Mama Leonie. I was born in Congo, but I grew up in Angola. I was raised in Congo. Both of my parents are Angolan. It's very normal for a mother to have a very strong relationship with their child. It's a very intimate sort of relationship, and of course it's something that we can admire as women. So the first thing that they do, of course, when a child is returning home from the maternity ward is, of course, we have to bathe them within our culture. We bathe them, and of course the mother enjoys the experience of breastfeeding them, or if the baby cannot latch onto the mother, then of course we give them a bottled milk. Now there is a process that of course a newborn mother must follow in our culture, which is of course to bathe themselves in very hot water with mango leaves in order to very nourish their bodies, and they begin to bathe themselves in hot water from the head downwards. As a child, in the first few months, there is of course a very distinctive process that we have where we have to massage the baby using a particular palm oil. Now here in the UK we do not have access to that, but it may be that is refined or it's more chemicalized, but back at home it's more biological and it's more organic. And that kind of oil is really precious because it helps the skin of the baby, but it also helps to relax the muscles and help the joints of the child as well. So from the age of 10 through to the age of 15 or above, Already a child at the age of 10 has a clear understanding of what it's like to maintain the home. They know how to sweep, they know how to wash the dishes, and they know how to care for their younger siblings by preparing them breakfast or smaller dishes, of course. At that particular age, they have a clear understanding and knowledge as what it's like to be a helper inside the house, especially for the young girls. So I'd just like to start by saying that within our home country of Angola, we're a bit in a battle between cultures because we have two distinct cultures. The original natives of Angola are called the Shungus, and they have their ways of culturism, their traditions, and their customs that they follow. But those individuals that come from the north of Congo, when we arrive into, of course, Angola, many of our customs and many of our traditions are quite taboo to share with other people because it's our way of transmitting our Congolese culture into the Angolan culture. So as you mentioned, from the ages of 10 to 15, it's a bit too early to start having such conversations. But after that particular age, after adolescence and they get a bit much older, especially mothers who are more open and having very honest conversations with their children, they'll already start to speak to them about how they should, of course, serve a husband, how they should be within a marital home, the kind of things that they should do and how they should be cooking. And those are the kind of conversations that are really welcoming between a mother and a child. So when it comes to welcoming a young man into the home, we always sit down our daughter and we start to ask her a series of questions. Now the responses that she gives us, whether they are positive, that's when we begin to, of course, ask more questions that opens up the idea or the topic of welcoming this young man into our home. Now it's so important that within this conversation, it's both parents, mother and father, that are involved in this conversation to make sure that our daughter is making the right choice. So within this process, it's a bit tricky at first. It has to be, of course, that the young lady, especially our daughter, goes and speaks with her potential partner and they discuss in terms of, you know, what kind of things they need to do in order to come. Now the potential groom goes home and him and his family, they have to write a handwritten letter for them to bring it onto us. The letter is not sent directly to the in-laws' parents, but it has to be transported through the children or the potential groom or bride who wants to be wed. Now, when we receive this letter through our daughter, we then have to agree or see what are the best acceptable dates that we can choose to welcome the potential groom into our home. So besides, of course, the beverages or any other things that they bring, they also bring an envelope filled with a monetary gift. Now, this is not just a gift as a symbol of anything, of any kind of buying, but it's a respectful and honouring symbol. So during that particular stage of the introductory stage, we're not very hesitant to give them, of course, a receipt that, of course, they have to bring back for the traditional wedding. Now, when it does come to the traditional wedding, if the groom's family are ready and prepared, they can gather all the necessary items to bring forth to that particular wedding and continue the process. So when it comes to the traditional part of things, on the mother's side of the family, we ask for things that, of course, what we call, you have to dress the mother. And that means buying her African attire garments to dress the mother. And on the father's side of this particular stage, they have to buy things that is suited for the father. Now in Angola, we have a particular red bottled alcoholic drink that is 5 litres, and they have to bring at least 2 or 3 of those to this particular point. On top of that, we also ask of domestic items, quilts, brooms, pots and pans, and on top of that we also ask for the dowry, the price, of course, of the monetary gift that they are willing to give for our daughter. So there is not a specific structure that the civil wedding should have in order to commence within the course of the culture. So for instance, if there has been a particular date given to the bride and groom and they intend on marrying on a Thursday, they can do so. On the Friday, we'll proceed with the traditional wedding, and then on the Saturday, we can go forward with the religious wedding, which involves the church, and then Sunday, the party continues. So it's something that is very important within our culture, the Angolan culture, that we must consider and talk about. that when, of course, a child is ready to be wed, it's not something that we force to them that they must do. If they are ready and they are prepared to follow through with all the 3 steps, and they can go forward, but there's not a massive rush when it comes to the religious wedding, or should I say the church wedding. It's with joy to hear that my daughter has now come to me and told that she is bearing a child. Now, of course, there's a very keen saying, they say that when your daughter is married and she therefore bears a child and she gives birth to a grandchild for you as a grandparent, that you will grow grey hair. And it's with great joy to hear such a thing, and a parent must only be extremely happy and really filled with joy to receive such news. Most of the time, it is of course the mother and the child that leaves their home to go back to their mother's home to have help and assistance when of course they're bearing their new child, their newborn. Now, it may be in some cases in terms of distance perhaps, or maybe that they are living afar. The mother may leave her home and stay with the new mother and the new baby to help them with their nurturing and postnatal care. From a very big family, but my tribe that I resonate in is a Luba tribe that comes from Kasai in the Oriental area. Now, this particular area, or should I say my family, we are a family of 12, and I am the 11th child. So most of the time when a child is born, we do accept and welcome this child with joy. And there are some things, of course, that we do that, of course, resonates with our joy. But there are some people who say certain words and say, oh, this is my wife or my husband, and it doesn't quite sit well with our particular culture, because it's like as if they are speaking ill upon to the child instead of speaking well wishes to them. So when it comes to the age of 10 to 15 in our particular tribe as Lubas, there are very, very important things that we must administer to our children, especially when it comes to young girls. Now, when I was a young child and my mother was around, she always used to advise me to not be concerning myself with young boys or boys of any type of nature, because it means that I'm not keeping myself chaste, and therefore I'm opening myself into accepting anything and everything from the people around me. Now, it's so important that this is customary and of course taught to the rest of our children, especially the girls, because if you know a man before that particular age, it means that you have been de-virginized. And when you are to leave the marital home, it is only when you are a married woman. So here I can first of all say that marriage is a process. It's just not something that should be rushed into. Now, as a Luba, there are many things, of course, that we have to administer before we get to that particular stage. A child can come and speak to both parents and say, okay, this is the person that I want to marry, but there are, of course, questions in which we have to ask the child to make sure that they are truly in love and they are just not doing it for the sake of just being married for that instance. And when it comes to welcoming them into our home as an introductory stage, we don't really ask for them to bring anything of any nature as what we see here in the UK in the most modern cultures. We just ask for both families, the in-law family and of course the bride's family, to introduce one another and so that they can get acquainted to one another. So where I can start off by saying is this, that in my particular culture and in my family, what we have adopted is the simplicity of being wed, especially at the traditional point. My father, when we were marrying off my 2 sisters, he only asked the most humble and simplest things: shoes, shirt, tie, vest in particular for him to wear as a symbol that he's marrying off his daughter. In many cases now, that is not the case. There are many people who are asking for a number of things where it can cause a lot of dispute and uncertainty within the newlywed family home. So for instance, when they come to getting married in a traditional sense, there are many things that we want our children to leave with when they enter their marital home. One of them being stability and also reassurance. But we do not want them to enter with debt, monetary debt, where they start to have a lot of expenses that they cannot keep up to. So it's very important to make it clear that the price, or should I say, the amounts that we ask for within the particular stage of the traditional wedding is not to be exaggerated. It's only to be used as a symbol of respect and honour that the groom is giving towards the bride. Now it is the groom himself, not his family, but he himself as a man who is coming to marry off our daughter. It is of course the daughter to just wait for us to accept this monetary gift and take it forward. The first thing I must have to say is that within my family, the civil marriage is the most important. Not only is it assurance and reassurance, but it is a level of security. Not only are you recognized by the law that you are man and wife, but you're also recognized by your counterparts and the people around you, and so that nothing of ill will shall come to you. There has been a situation where, of course, I have witnessed my in-laws or my close relatives go through a very, very distressing moment where there are other wives claiming that this particular man that they were married to, that they should have, of course, his assets because the man had passed away. But therefore, when my particular sister brought forward her certificate of recognition that she did in a civil courtship, she gained all access to his belongings as heritage. Henceforth, why the civil marriage is not only showing honour and respect, but it's reassuring that your daughter is leaving a marital home and she is living with security. All I can say is, first of all, when it comes to the religious wedding, it's a very modernised cultural adoption that I believe we have taken on board. In my particular tribe, it's not that particularly important, but it's of course something that we can do. Now, there are some tribes in particular, or some people, should I say, who take this particular step very, very seriously within the modern culture and try to make sure that they get the best out of it. But the most important is the traditional and the civil. The religious can come, but of course that is of when a bride and groom decides to involve Christ within their particular marital status. So first I have to say is that the kind of relationship that is shared between the in-laws and the parents of the bride is very, very important in my tribe. It's not just a kind of distinctive separation where that is an in-law, that is the child that I am now married into, but they have now become my own child, and I will treat them with the same respect and the same kindness as I do with my own. Okay. So the advice that I'd like to share with you for those viewers at home is that when I had my child, my daughter, at the age of 10, I taught her already how to lay her bed when she rises. At the age of 12, I taught her how to cook. And now that she is furthering on within her life, I want her to know that the kind of customs and traditions I am teaching her, she must carry them over. Because there will be a point where I will no longer be beside her and she'll have to do things on her own. Wherever she is and whatever she is doing, she's representing me in her attitude, in her customs, and the way, of course, that she behaves. Now, the advice that I want to give to my other young children out there is to be sure to follow through with what your parents are teaching you. So I have to say that my daughter has never, or my sons have never been to a sleepover. Their friends can be invited to our home, but they are not to go to their home and have a so quote unquote sleepover. That's not permitted in my household. And another piece of advice that I'd like to add on as advice for my young viewers out there is to please guard your dignity. Do not expose yourselves to the likelihood of what you see as a customary or a modern tradition that we see within our culture, but to guard your virginity, to make sure that you are keeping yourself to yourself right through until a man honors you and you are therefore honored within your family. My name is Mama Sandrine and I'm very welcome and happy to be here. I am Congolese and Bandundu in Congo, Kinshasa. So when a child is born in our particular region, it is a joy to see the birth of this child. On the mother's side, no matter which child is born, a boy or a girl, it's always a very joyous moment and everybody is very happy at that time. On the father's side, it's much more of a joyous event because they are welcoming a new child into their family. In our culture as Congolese individuals, we have more value and more precedent when a boy is born in a family. The first thing that we do when we give birth to a baby girl is, of course, shape our child to make sure that she has a very good fall. She is nurtured well and she has a good formation. So when a child is born, you have to massage them and mold them very well. And we use a particular oil, specifically palm oil, to help mold their body. So when a child is born and you are massaging them with the palm oil, their bones and their muscles are very soft. And that is the perfect opportunity to mold them well and to give them that good shape. So as we begin to talk about holding relationships and advancing within that process, you can already see at such an early age, you teach your children how to compose themselves, how to be responsible. And as they are growing older and they begin to understand more intimate conversations with you as a mother and a child, you begin to show them particular ways. You begin to open up a barrier where you can now teach them what to do and how to do it, because they are advancing to much older ages as 15 or 17, and they are beginning to know a bit more. All I can say is that it's a joyous moment. As a mother, to receive a letter, of course, of marriage, it's a very good way to see that our child that we have nurtured and grown has understood and taken on board everything that we have taught them. And when they leave the home, it's a moment of pride, it's a moment of honor, that a child has left a home knowing that they will be entering into a marital home and not just any home as we would like as Africans. So when a letter has arrived to our home, there has to be something inside to show that level of respect and the honor that they are willing to take for our daughter. There is no specific amount. However, our child, or should we say our future son-in-law, can put whatever amount that they can put inside. So once we receive the letter, we open it and we read it. Then we, of course, myself as a mother and my husband as a father, we gather other members of our family in order to respond effectively to this letter. The first thing that we do is that we call our daughter into the room and we ask her questions if she knows this person really well. The first thing that we do is that we have a presentation. It's a meeting of where we meet both families. After that, we obviously have the traditional wedding, and then the religious wedding, and then the civil. During the presentation, there isn't something specifically that we ask for. However, they come with, of course, a few things, of course, to show a little bit of honor and respect to the girl's family. So, for instance, things to drink. Some particular tribes bring cigarettes. Some members bring whiskeys or maybe an alcoholic drink, but they just bring it as a sign of respect and honor to the girl's family. So when it comes to, of course, the dowry, the family, the male's family returns home with a receipt. And on that receipt are things, of course, that the mother's side of the family have requested and the father's side have requested. And upon that list, you have specific things such as garments for the mother to wear, shoes for the father to wear. But from where I come from specifically in Bandundu, we specifically ask for a type of animal, which is a goat. And within having that particular goat, we can also ask for other traditional items. Items that help us create maybe specific types of wines or whiskies, but they are leafy products, and that's what we ask for in our tribe. Usually it's a form of negotiation. When it does arise according to the receipt, it's based on either on a monetary negotiation or when we speak about the garments. Most of the time in both families, we can negotiate perhaps maybe the items that they bring, bags of salt, big pots to cook with, or specific items of food. There are some families who, of course, take on board this negotiation as a symbol of honor and respect to their family. However, there are some family members who may take this negotiation and, of course, take advantage of the things in which they are asking for. So when a daughter has, of course, entered into a traditional marriage, on the day of the traditional marriage, she has to wear a garment. And of course, that garment is symbolic of her becoming a mother. And the value that this particular garment has is something that they can take on board for them to symbolically show that they are no longer just a girl, but they have now become a mother. So as you can see in our tribe, there are specific dishes that we do prepare for them. We prepare for them a pot of a mushroom stew. We also prepare for them a pot of misili. And we also prepare for them a pot that involves small tiny worms. Now these worms are very symbolic and cultural within our tradition, and it's prepared within a stew to show the sign of our togetherness and unity. It is very important in our culture, only because you can see that a child has been well nurtured and grown. When you see our mothers, our sisters, our aunties all gathered together to prepare a meals in which the guests will eat, they will know that this girl has been raised in a very well-knit family. When we release our daughter, it's to show that she is the full package. She has been well prepared to enter a marital home, and we are sending her off in the righteous way that we can as mothers, as sisters, and of course as a family. It's a very joyous moment that we can celebrate and see how well we have raised our daughter and how well it is good to send her off in the right way. It's a celebration that is mostly adorned and of course rejoiced all over the family. As you know, we have left our daughter and she has gone into a new home. Yes, the mother and the father can rejoice and celebrate to hear such good news that our daughter is soon about to be a mother. She is no longer a child. Yes, she's a wife, but she's now going to become a mother. So as you can see, it's not a problem for me to enter the family home of my in-laws, specifically my daughters. What is not allowed, what is prohibited, is for me to enter their bedroom. Their chamber is for them alone. When you see a particular child in our culture has fallen pregnant, what we most likely like to do is send a younger person specifically to go and help them during that time of pregnancy, just to help them with some weight around the house and to help them during that particular time. Usually, it's not a problem for the child to come to us. However, in a marital home, usually the wife has to go to the husband's side of the family, specifically the mother, and let the mother attend to her needs as much as she can. Our only job is to make sure that she is looked after well. We have to keep her upkeep at the best place and time that we can. We have to make sure that her only duty when she has given birth is to feed the child, to look after herself, and to make sure that she's in good health. The only thing that she's required to do is to breastfeed. What we do as mothers is take on board the child, make sure the child is well, look after the mother also, and we of course take part in this thing called a wali, which makes sure that they are both looked after very well. Now, of course, in our tradition, it's a very important thing that the mother, once they have given birth, they have, of course, an enlarged stomach, they have a particular different skin color on their skin, and what we do is, of course, we wash them with hot water to make sure that their body is well suited and looked after.
Hello everybody, my name is Hilaria Asumu. I am originally from Nigeria, so from Etsako, which is Edo State Central. And I am a mom with 2 children who are in university. Well, one is in university, one is just finished.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And my background, really, I am an Edo girl. And I'm also from a royal family, so we have traditions that actually decide how we behave, you know, in society. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Growing up, initially when we're younger, I knew that, you know, I was a princess. We all knew, but you know, with the British coming to colonize, you know, the African countries and merging most of the tribes together, we sort of lost the importance of our royal identity. But most of the people in my village, they recognize us as royalty. So when we meet them and we mention who we are and where we're from, they instantly recognize us and our titles. Well, as a young girl, I didn't grow up in the village. I grew up in the city. And my dad was a civil servant. My mom was, at first she was a trader, a big trader in Benin City, where I was where we live. And she sort of like ensured that, you know, she kept the home, you know, and stuff like that. And I remember, you know, my dad coming home, we were quite well to do. My dad coming home, buying us different delicacies and stuff like that. And I had a lot of friends. We mixed with a lot of people from different areas because Nigeria has a whole host of people, languages, you know, customs. As a young girl, I moved around a bit, and we moved from place to place because, you know, sometimes my dad would be posted somewhere else and stuff like that. But growing up was really happy. I have 7 brothers and sisters. And we just went through life happy, no issues, nothing whatsoever. My mom went on to open her own business, big business.
In the city that you guys
in
were
the
living
city we're living in.
Yeah.
And she sort of like got us to help, because back home, the older ones help around the house, looking after the younger ones.
And are you part of the older group of children?
I'm one of the older. We're 3 older sisters, and then 3 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters. So we all sort of like were really close, very closely knitted, and we sort of looked after our younger ones. Our younger ones call us mama.
Okay.
It's sort of respect.
Yeah, respect.
For us.
Yeah.
So we sort of like, you know, it was growing up was very happy. I don't remember, you know, I know my dad was very strict. As girls, senior girls, he didn't allow us go out to play as much. So when my dad is not home, we go out to play. As soon as we know he's coming back, close to the time when we're indoors, pretending to do our homework, you know, and stuff like that. But I met my husband after I'd finished university, because I wouldn't dare take a man home. So I got married first in my family. And the day I wanted to introduce my husband, I told her, so we're going to see my mom first.
Right.
To pave the way.
Of course, because she can now go speak to dad and soften him up. Okay,
So Two came to see my mom, told my mom was like, okay, no problem. And then the day we're going to see my dad, I told him, I said, when I get into the house and my dad gets up to go inside the house and you see me get up and walk through the door, follow me.
Right.
I said, because what you see afterwards, I'm not going to be a party to it.
Of course, of course.
So, but my dad was, you know, really happy. You can judge when my dad is not happy.
Of course,
So we sat down, we discussed, and my husband told him he wanted to marry me. And he said, okay, no problem. You go, get your family and come over. It's a long process.
A long process,
of marriage. It takes like 6 months.
Yes, right.
So my husband told my dad, you know, but usually you can't take a guy home. Other parents are sort of like a bit relaxed.
Yes.
But in my family, no.
No way.
You go to school until you're old enough. You don't leave home until you're old enough. And that is like 28. And if you're living home...
I'm currently 28, and that's, to be honest, I left when I was 21 because I went to uni, but wow.
But if you're living home, it's because you are married.
Yes.
You're not moving you're not moving to your own house to live on your own. Not done.
Doesn't exist.
No.
Is that like a taboo?
It's a taboo.
Wow.
In my house, other people could, but
leniency,
but
yes.
Majority of the time, no, you do not do that ever.
Wow.
But I think things changed because after the first 3 girls got married, and then it was the younger sisters. I don't think it was that bad because I think my dad had sort of like mellowed a bit. So
that's why I'll get these kids out.
So he comes in, he's seen my dad. My dad said, go bring your family. He comes first to introduce his family. And when they come, they're coming with presents.
Yes.
Wow. So they come with just a little bottle of gin to say, we've seen a flower in your house. That's the language.
Okay.
We've seen a flower in your house and we want to come and pluck it. My father would tell them that you're welcome. Thank you for coming to see us. But you know you have to see our kin. To tell them that you want to marry our daughter. Because my dad can't give me away without the eldest brother's the eldest man in the house approval.
Of course.
So we have to travel to the village
Yes.
to see my uncle, who is currently the oldest person in the house.
Yes.
And this is another stage where you bring presents. So they bring drinks, they bring food, they come with their whole people from their village. There is music, there's dancing. Then my uncle calls me from inside the house and says, do you want to marry this guy? They have to ask you because there's no divorce.
Okay.
So I kneel down.
Yes.
You know.
Because that's customary, of course, in front of, someone of royalty. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is, at that point, that's when they give the family a list.
It's like a receipt of things to get.
Yes, to bring.
Wow.
Now, mine was very long. At least mine was okay because I told myself, don't tax them, because anybody tax them, I would be very...
What is the taxation process, and why do people
for me,
get
it
taxed?
was 2 bags of rice.
Yes.
So the really huge
The
bag. I don't
big
know what
ones.
kg it is. Is it 50?
50, yeah.
Yes, those
The
big
heavy
ones,
one.
those huge ones.
Yeah.
2 bags of salt, 2 basins of dried fish, 2 gallons of palm oil. Excuse me, palm wine. I think it was 3. There was a few other things they asked for. My younger brother was asked to bring a leg of an antelope. My uncle has this. His wives have it as well. They have theirs. And then my parents, my sisters will bring theirs. They bring that on the day. So they give them a date to come and pay the dowry. So when they come, this time is a big event. So they come dancing from the road.
Right, so you can hear them already before you see them.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're
It's a
coming,
massive
they're dancing
celebration.
with all the presents, their yams,
Yes.
their yams they have to bring, the rice, there's so many things they have to bring. And they come to the house. So it's a long day, there's a negotiation on bride price and all of those. And once that ceremony is done, in the meantime, I'm indoors, covered up, can't see me. Once I come out from the room, I don't come out my face open.
Okay.
And now, the guy has to pick who his wife is. The traditional wedding is the customary marriage,
Of course,
which
yeah.
they recognize. If you don't do that, they will marry you in the church. And then you have to do the court one, which is for the government.
Of course,
before you do the
yes,
wedding
yeah.
for God.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's 3. Yeah, so
Interesting.
Everything takes up like 3 months, 6 months. It's amazing when a lady sort of gets pregnant after being married. Usually they start asking after 1 month.
Are you pregnant yet?
Are you feeling? No, they don't come out to ask if you're pregnant. So how are you? How are you? And that's the
Right.
question.
Okay.
That is the question. How are you? Fine
Is
or
that
not?
okay?
My mom had 12.
Right.
8
Wow.
surviving.
Congratulations.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's like, something that everybody looks at. Before you marry a girl, you do a background check on the girl and the family. So if there are issues in terms of having children in the family, then that girl doesn't get married.
Okay.
There are some tribes we don't marry into because they are called, for want of better words, I can't find, it's like slave.
What's the Nigerian?
Oguma.
Oguma. Okay.
So we don't marry them, but times have changed.
Okay.
People just intermarry and
Yeah.
stuff.
You marry who you
So
love.
if you come with a girl from that tribe, they won't allow you marry, or a boy, nobody would agree because they're outcasts. Yes, that's the word. They're outcasts.
They're outcasts.
Yes,
Okay.
they're not allowed. So when a girl gets pregnant, it's a thing of joy. So when you tell your parents that you're pregnant, usually the mom, we all go to our moms to say, Mom, I'm pregnant. And they're so happy. They're praying to God to say, hopefully things would work out fine. And, the in-laws are happy as well. They're looking at, first grandchild or something in the family. And my son is the first grandchild. No, he's not the first grandchild.
Yeah, background, my parents father came from India, and then my mom was born in Kenya, and I was born in Kenya as well. I had 2 brothers and 4 sisters, and so we were born and grown up in Kenya, which was a beautiful country, obviously in Africa, where we all grew up together. All the neighbours were very friendly. We all helped each other out and looked after each other. And the schools were quite far, so we were walking to the school every day and going back home. And my father had a shop there. He used to make shoes. So we had a very joyous and happy childhood. We weren't rich, but we were happy because we didn't have the luxuries, but we were a close, loving family. So it was a beautiful life growing up with my mom and dad.
Yeah.
There was mixed people. We had some Indian people. There was a few Muslim families. There were African families as well. So we all gelled on really well together. Nobody ever quarrelled about anything. It was a good environment to grow up in. Food-wise, we used to get fresh fruits and every day, fresh food. So we didn't have like bread or cakes or stuff, but it was healthy living. We lived really healthily, yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
I was born in a Hindu family, but I do believe in religion of human mankind.
Okay.
I do respect all the religions in the world.
Yeah.
I didn't do a high school. I went to the primary school, and then in the high school we had to pay fees for it. So when I was 12, I didn't do a high school. My sister did. She was the eldest in the family, and I just helped out my mum in the housework and everything. So I studied in Thompson's Falls until end of primary school.
Okay.
I remember my teenager
Yeah.
because 4 years teenagers was in Africa.
Yeah.
And then when we were 14 came to this country, and the environment was totally different because we came from Africa straight to Bolton, and then I joined the high school in Bolton and studied there for a few years. So it was not difficult, but it was different to adjust to the new environment, new friends, new family, work, and then the houses as well, because in Africa there was a lot of greeneries, so we could play in the park and that.
So much
and
space.
the weather was totally different as well. The food was different, and because there we were used to eating fresh fruit, fresh milk, fresh butter. Here everything was in the supermarket. So it was a total change, it was total transformation of life. My father had a friend in Bolton. My brother suffered from muscular dystrophy, and he was the main reason we came, because we were told we'll get cure here. Mm-hmm. And also we had a business. My dad used to make shoes, and they were cutting down in the little villages licenses because there was already one shoemaker there, so our license was stopped. Mm. So in Africa there's no such thing as benefits, so you earn and you eat. So it was a chance for us to come to England. My dad was born under British Raj, so he had the right to come to UK. For 50 years ago, when you came to this country, there was no groups or anything. There wasn't much support as such, because first we didn't have any friends, we didn't know anybody. Only people we knew was my dad's friend who brought us into Bolton. So it was like starting fresh. It was difficult because luckily we knew how to speak English, because in Africa the Swahili was the first language, but then after a little while they brought English in, so English became the first language. So we were lucky to learn English before we came to this country, so it was that much easier for us. The community centre started in late 70s, where a group of Indian started doing celebrations like 9 days Goddess Festival, Diwali, New Year celebration, Krishna's birthday, Ram's birthday. So they all got together. They used to have a hall on Fletcher Street, and people got together celebrating. And then end 70s, everybody collected a bit of money, and they bought a temple then. Fletcher Street was a hall where people got together celebrating festivals. Yeah. But the temple, first one was on the corner of Chorley New Road, Chorley Old Road. So they bought that building. All the communities got together and bought that building. Usually, when they leave school or when they're in the teens, with me, it was my mum. She taught us how to cook, clean, knitting, crochet, craft work, because she was the teacher really. She taught us everything to prepare for the marriage and being a teenager. My father was quite liberal-minded, and so he wouldn't force us into anything we didn't want to do. So it was a family came from Loughborough, and they came to my friend's dad's house, and they came to my house, and they saw me, and then they proposed, and we went to see their house, and then met few times, and then got engaged. Engagement was in the Indian ceremony tradition where people will bring a sari for the girl, the boy's side, and they celebrate the engagement with the families and friends. We all ate together, danced, sang songs, and then the marriage was planned. So in those days, the marriage didn't used to be grand like they do in these days, where they have it in a big hotel and stuff. So we just hired a little temple, and that's we got married there. Yeah.
Can you tell?
Mom's brother, we call him Mama, usually brings the clothes for the wedding for the girl. Yeah. And I wore a white sari, which my mama brought for me, and then the boys' side will bring a red or a green sari. So you put that on top of the white one. White is the purity, of course, and red is the celebration. It's a warm color. Jewelry, it's from the parents, so it's
your parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the boys' side bring jewelry as well, depending how wealthy they are. So it's the normal type of jewelry which you wear for your engagement. So the same type, yeah. So first he'll do a ceremony with the girl and the mom and dad, and then when the groom arrives, they welcome him at the door, and so certain rituals they perform, and then the groom will come into the hall or the temple, and then the girl will come, the bride will come with her parents or brother, and then the first ritual he'll do is where he's gonna give, the parents is giving the girl to the groom and asking him some promises that he's gonna look after her, support her. The girl's parents asking for the promises to the groom because they want to make sure the daughter's gonna be happy with him. So they will ask him, you're going to make my daughter happy. I'm giving my daughter's hand in marriage to you, but this is what I want in return. So you'll support her, you'll help her, you'll feed her, and you'll protect her. So there's usually 7 promises they ask for. Yeah.
That's really
excited and nervous, because excitement is, yes, you're getting married. Nervous is you going to a family where you hardly know anybody. The only person you know most is your husband. And in this day and age, they live together before they get married.
Yeah.
Those days you met a few times, and then suddenly going to his house, you know. So
you don't know
it was
much.
nervous, very nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Baby was born in Bolton Hospital. All my family came, they were really happy. Mom, she used to walk like an hour to get to the hospital because it was winter time, it was February, so the snow was up to here. So she used to come visiting with my sister and my family. So I was happy, very happy. So we have a ritual on the 6th day when the baby's born.
Yeah.
And I'd say that on the 6th day, the goddess of fate will come and write the baby's fate. So we had a ceremony there. And then when the baby is 40 days old, that's when we take the baby to the temple to get the blessing from the priest.
Yeah.
But when we take the baby on the day 40, he does a tilak on the forehead, like a red spot.
Yeah.
And then he will he'll take the baby to the deity, and then get the blessing. After 6 months, when the baby starts eating, is usually the elder in the family will give the first spoonful. So it's said that whoever gives the first spoonful, the baby will be like them when he grows up. So it's like a first food ceremony we have. And then another ceremony will be when baby starts school. So there's quite a few ceremonies for the baby. Where in India, the community is same. They do the same ceremonies, same rituals. Where in this country, it's more like kids are more educated, and we are more accepting things. So it is drifting a bit, because like I said, the grandkids are more interested. So they will ask questions, why do you do this, why do you do this, why are you doing this? So because they are more interested, I think the traditions will come back with their generation.
Yeah, I'm born in Kenya.
Okay.
I grew up in Kenya, and I got parents. I got 8 sisters and brothers. We were very, very enjoy ourselves. It's a beautiful life. And 1966, I came here because I get married and had a baby, and then I came this country. My mom and dad born in India, and they came when my dad was 14 and my mom was 13. They came in Kenya, and then we settled in Kenya. My father had a shop, and we had a very nice life, beautiful. Yeah, in November we do all our round things, like a Garba. And then in Diwali we celebrate our gods things all year. From January to December, we are always celebrating something. When I was 6, we have to do fasting and things like that. We have to grow a weed, and then we have to do every ceremony, and then we have to do fasting 9 days. And then we have to put that in a river and things like that. We have to go outside and collect cow dough, and then we have to dry it, and then we do everything. I was 16 when I came here. 1966 I came here. 1966 in April I get married, and then I had a baby. I came here. Yeah, I had my arranged marriages because my father, that time of, father is so dependent on the child. So we have to go from Kenya, from Kitale to Nairobi to go and see the guy, and then from there it start everything. Then after a month, with my dad, we have to do our ceremony. The first day we have to do yellow thing on our body, and then we have to have a bath and then get married. And our priest do all ceremonies, and then we got, my father's friend is in Nairobi, and he rang my father, like there is a guy here, say if you want to see him for your daughter, and then we went there, and then everything started from there. If I like him, then I said yes. If I don't like him, then I said no, I don't like him. But he was a perfect guy for me, so I said yeah, and started from there. I came London first, stayed 2 days there with my friend, and then my brother-in-law had his house here, so we came here, and then my husband got a job. So, because that time, people don't want to give house, because we had a baby, they said no, can't have a house with a baby. So my brother-in-law said, why don't you stay in my house until you go, your baby grow 2-3 years old, then you can buy a house.
Okay.
At that time, the house was only £100. So we bought a house, and then from there we start everything. You know, when we get married, we have to go in we got some kind of a structure, and then we have to go and sit down there, and priest do his job, and we have to do whole ceremony, and then we have to go 4 times round. So it's like that. I have to etch it with my husband. So then he said, "Yo, now you married." So that way he started. It's a bit difficult to pronounce, you know, it's all Indian thing, so I don't know. You know, when I get pregnant, after 7 months, we do celebration. We do invite people, and then we do some ceremony. So we have to go around and tell everybody that I'm going to have a baby, and then they give us a present and things like that. And then they start, then everybody had a dinner, and then they go. When I had my baby, after 6 days, we have to do ceremony, like, you know, 6 days ceremony. Then we have to cover the baby and put it under the bed, and then God came and write his poem and everything. And then
you put the baby.
Yeah, we have to, you know, we make a light. We don't have to show the light to baby, because then we have to cover his face and everything, so he can't see the light. About 2-3 minutes, like, you know, our God is coming in and write his life. We have to put the paper in a pen in under the bed, and then God came, and then he write down the life, how he's going to go life. And then after 3 or 4 minutes, we have to take the light out, and then we can get the baby out. When my second child born, it was different up to now. When they give you, we have to stay 1 week in a hospital. They look after us very well in hospital, but nowadays it's completely different. Next day you have to go home.
Yeah.
But that time it was very, very nice. When I born in Kenya, people are very, very nice. African people are very, very nice to us. So, you know, like family, you know, there's nothing like here, you know, here if you want to go out, you're afraid, but there, no, it was very, very nice, Domina.
Yeah.
When my granddaughter born, was very, very beautiful. So, you know, you can't explain, Domina. So I don't know. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Because, you know, you do baby shower here. We don't do, in Kenya, we don't do baby shower. They do here baby shower, and then you celebrate baby things and things like that. You know, people giving present. But in Kenya, no, they don't do that way. Because here people can afford it. In Kenya, they can't afford it. So, in Kenya, it's better. In Kenya, you can go outside and play outside, but here, you know, this weather don't do anything.